So, welcome back. We're going to start with our first topic, which is now the right time to move, which, as you can imagine, is something we get asked a lot. So, with Heather Bruin here from the Mortgage Advice Bureau, we're hoping to answer some of those questions for you. Before we start, I remember, now we all obviously worrying and talking about mortgage rates as they are now and so on and so forth. In 1988, when I started in this business, I know I don't look old enough, mortgage rates then from 1979, apparently, I've looked at some figures today, 17%, down to 9% in 1982, and then back up to 14.88% in October 1989. Now, these are figures that I've got off the internet of historic mortgage rates. So, but I remember mortgage rates being high, but we still purchased houses and people still did very, very well out of the housing market. So we know that at the moment there's less houses available and that prices are certainly more attractive now if you're looking to move house or first time buyer, which we'll come on to in a later video. But Heather, what are your thoughts?
So I think with the headlines that we're seeing at the moment, it's no surprise that people are asking the question as whether or not they should be moving. We have had historically low rates for a period of time now, and actually the market isn't as bad as you would think. So as you've just demonstrated, interest rates are still relatively cheap, about 3.5% to 5%. The key really is to establish a budget that you're comfortable with and make sure that you're not overstretching yourself financially. And by working with an advisor, we're able to do that for you. We'll then compare deals across a number of different lenders to ensure that we get the right deal to suit you and your circumstances. And I think naturally there's always going to be drivers that are encouraging people to move. And if you are in a situation where you're thinking about moving, whether it's because of job, you need some more space, I think that you shouldn't be put off by the current market and the headlines that you're seeing.
I think that's really good advice. I mean, obviously, affordability, what we can't stress enough at the moment, and again, going back in all those years ago where people overstretched themselves, you mustn't overstretch yourself now. Stay comfortable, because these guys will tell you, when you come in and you think, oh, I want to buy this, and I can afford this, they'll look at it carefully for you and they'll work out what you really can comfortably afford, because the lenders are going to be the ones that are going to stress test, aren't they? They're going to stress test the applicants, and they'll decide what they feel that your affordability really is. So, get that advice early before starting viewing properties, I guess, really. But I spoke earlier about mortgage rates being higher and so on and so forth, and I just did some quick calculations, and this really is key to this. So, as an example, if you ended up paying now £500 a month more on your mortgage than you would have done, say, 12 months ago, because the way the interest rates have gone, over the next 2 years, because people tend to have 2-year, 5-year fixed, whatever, over the next 2 years, you're going to end up spending £12,000 more on your mortgage than you would have done a year ago. However, you're likely to get that sort of property now £20,000 less because the way the market has stabilised. So actually, it's all about affordability, because if you can afford it, now, in my opinion, obviously as an estate agent, is still a good time to buy. So, I think that's good. And as I said, you've already covered off about not stressing yourself and so on and so forth. Ultimately, people who are just moving for the change of scenery or slightly bigger garden, they're the ones that probably won't be looking to move right now. They'll probably stay put. However, there are still those that need to move, so upsizing, downsizing, job moves, etc. So I think all in all, it's ultimately their decision, isn't it? Anything else to say on that subject?
No, I think the key is just to not believe everything that you see in the media and just base it on your own personal circumstances, your long-term goals, and, as you say, just making sure that it's all affordable for you.
I think that's a really good point. Long-term goals, because this is all a long game now. It isn't a short game where you buy, sell again in 18 months, 2 years and move on. You're going to have to weather this storm a little bit. and look ahead. So again, if you'd like to discuss your situation in more detail, we'll ensure that you get the right advice. And next video will be on fixed versus variable mortgages. There's another one for you. So join Heather and I on the next video, and we'll look forward to speaking to you.